You have to believe. That's part of law of attraction. You attract what you believe. That's why people can attract different things all the time, good and bad things, because it depends on what you believe. One person can believe something that they're going to ingest will kill them, and it might. And something can believe that same thing will make them healthy, and it might, because you're coming at it from different frequencies. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that my body is going to be in alignment with and show up and look for evidence of what I believed to strengthen what I believe.
This is Find Joy with Joyan Season 2, where joy gets stronger, our community gets bigger, and together we become better versions of ourselves in a world full of limitless possibilities. I'm your host, Joyan Chan. And every Wednesday, we bring you inspiring stories that will light up your soul, powerful message that will make you go wow, and fun conversations that will crack you up. With me and my special guests and friends, it is my personal mission to empower you to live and lead a life with joy. If you are new here, this podcast is for you if you are looking for more joy, courage, passion, and purpose in your life. We dive deep into mindset mastery, spirituality, love and relationship matters, and how to manifest more success and abundance in all aspects of your life, however that looks. This podcast has got your back every step of the way. Now, without further ado, get ready to laugh, learn, and live your life to the fullest. From personal trainer to empowerment strategist, she has been empowering people in the areas of health, relationships, healing, and business since 2005. She specializes in helping people create a roadmap to emotional healing and rewiring core wound patterns with her exclusive core wound mapping. She works with conscious spiritual truth seekers who want to remove emotional blocks to success and helps them identify sabotaging patterns and behaviors and transmute struggle into joy. And she has been also successfully teaching law of attraction since 2009. And she's here today to empower you to make decisions that can transform self-sabotage in every area in order to manifest the success that you desire and the life that you dream of. So guys, help me welcoming the empowerment strategist and the creator of the Empowering Minds Network, JJ Flizanes. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks, Joyan.
So, the first place that I want to start with you is, how do we first identify our core wounds?
Well, it's actually an exercise. So the original work came from Imago therapy, and you can get that book or the Imago workbook. It's Getting the Love That You Want from Harville Hendricks and Helly LaKelly Hunt. But it's just the first exercise. And even from the first exercise, it doesn't go any deeper than that. I used it years ago with my own marriage when we were trying to save that marriage. And it was pretty life-changing for me. Didn't save the marriage, but it was very life-changing for me, that exercise. And then I started using it. I literally said to the therapist that I was working with, why isn't everybody doing this? Like, why isn't every single person in therapy doing this exercise? Because it would really make therapy much better and faster, because then you could just sort of get to the bottom line and then start working from there versus telling stories to try to extract. And even most therapists aren't going to do this in a linear way. You're not going to have a conversation and they're not going to tell you or confirm. So it sounds like your core wound might be abandonment. I mean, there are some obvious ones, but it's not the same. It's a little more structured. So from that first exercise, I started working with it with people, like individuals. I did it in a group, one of my live events. I did it with all my certification people that came through to do my certification. And then I continued doing it. But every time I would do it, it would get better and better. And I would ask different questions and I would realize, so astrologically, my moon is in Sag, and Sagittarians are known for truth seeking and information. So for me, when I saw the information, I learned it like very quickly and I changed my behavior. Someone else may look at it, understand it, and not change their behavior. So I had to figure out for other people, once they learn how to extract sort of what I consider the map from the exercise, how does one make those changes in their life. And that's sort of what I've created, is taking it about 3 levels deeper and being able to extract some information off of it so that you understand your top 3 core wounds and the circuit that happens in the brain when you get triggered. There's an emotional response that happens, and then there's some kind of reaction. And when you understand your tripwire, so to speak, and you can see it differently, you can become an observer. So now we can, instead of being in it, we can kind of be in it and kind of pull away from it and realize what's happening. And now we have a little bit of consciousness and a little bit more space and a little bit more control over what we do about it, and maybe not letting it get and run its course over and over again. So let's say somebody gets triggered and they rebel. If you understand the pattern before you get to rebel, if you can catch it, you could maybe not rebel, right? So there's some ways to take the information and just automatically start to have more awareness. And then after that, what I've realized is that if it's not just that simple, obviously, it's we take it a little bit deeper to ask people how they contribute to their core wounds. Because your core wounds are made from a belief. They're basically a belief that you as a child made based on your caregivers and what you made their behavior or lack of behavior mean. It either meant I'm not important, or it meant I'm not valuable, or it meant whatever, I'm being controlled. So your subconscious made these belief systems, and they're kind of your operating system in a way. And what we can do about that, we can't really change what happened, but we also subconsciously continue to strengthen those beliefs by what we do to ourselves. And so I make everyone sort of also take each core wound and extract and find the ways in which, so for instance, one of mine is devalued. All right, so one of mine is devalued. So then how am I devaluing myself? So I would look at, okay, well, back in that relationship, how I would devalue myself was to put his feelings above mine, or to give him, well, I mean, I did it for me too, to be very forgiving, to be very compassionate, to be very understanding, which made my life better too. It wasn't, it's not, I'm not being a martyr, and vice versa, but we're saying, this is important for me, and I'm going to go do this for me. So whatever the situation is, you want to identify the ways in which you, the person, is also doing your core wound to you. And then the last piece is when you want to change your brain, because again, it's just like exercise or a sport. Like when you're really, really good at a sport, or let's say you're a runner and you think, oh, I'm a champion runner. I'm a really great athlete. Now I'm going to go bike. Okay. Or I'm going to go swim. Swimming and biking are different than running, and your brain and your muscles are not going to respond the same way as they do to running. You have to create and train new patterns in your body and in your brain to do this new thing. So when you want to change the patterns that you already have in your brain, you have to do new things.
Right.
But we have to strategically push and stretch into uncomfortable, out of comfort zone places in order for the brain. So for me, it would be, if devalued is one of my core wounds, then I would need to think about how to stretch myself into an action or behavior or something that would send a signal to my body and my brain that says, I am valuable. So what could I do? And that's what you look for. You look for the proactive things to stretch. I have a whole program called Rewiring Your Core Wound Patterns. And that's what we do. It's basically like a boot camp for taking all your core wounds and then learning how to embed new beliefs that are the opposite of your core wounds. So that way, if if I'm devalued and everything I do in my life is an expression of being devalued, how can I one by one start valuing myself? And then if I do that enough, I'm now creating neuroplasticity in my brain to now rewire differently. So I've created this whole map process and everything I've just explained, but generally you can get Harville's book, Getting the Love That You Want, and read that. Again, you have to do the exercise, which is in the workbook, but even past the workbook, there's not really like everything else I explain. You'll just do the exercise, but you wouldn't be extracting what I'm extracting. I have that kind of brain where I see things and then I sort of see them because I have my Mercury's in Aquarius. So I kind of see big picture and then I take little parts and then I go, oh, this piece belongs over here and this piece belongs over here, right? And I sort of make it a little bit more user friendly or a little bit more organized so that I can do something with it. Because again, for me, all I needed was the exercise. That was good. and I changed, but I've worked with hundreds of clients over the last 5 and 6 years. That's not enough for them. We need to make it more easier to understand and easier to implement into somebody's life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because we could listen to podcasts, we could read books, but if we don't implement, right, because knowledge is only potential power, like it won't change our life, right? If we just read on, keep on learning and absorbing knowledge, but if we don't really take those steps to change our beliefs, to empower ourselves, then our lives will never change. So, the other question that I have is, why do you say that emotions are the most important part of healing?
Because thoughts come first. So something is a non-physical before it's physical. So something is an idea before it's a reality. And when it comes to healing, if you are in a body, so imagine if you had to give it a color or a texture or like a personality. And if you are trying to, and you have something going on in your body that is, let's say it's cancer, okay? And cancer is your body basically attacking itself. If the body internally is attacking itself, it's not happy. There's something off. There's something wrong. And if I go down the path of doing physical things, it doesn't necessarily change the container of energy that the body's in. If the body's upset, if the body's angry, if I'm holding on to emotions, it's like if I was to ask you, generally speaking, what happens to people, maybe you, maybe not you, if you get embarrassed? Does anything happen when you get embarrassed?
I would say most people hide or they shut down. I don't know.
Or have you ever seen people get like flush,
Oh,
get
yeah,
red
yeah,
faced?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
What about if you're nervous? What happens if you get scared or nervous? Maybe your heart beats faster, maybe your blood pressure goes up a little bit, maybe your body temperature goes up a little bit, right? These are physical manifestations of emotions.
Mm, yeah.
When your body holds on to negative emotions for long periods of time, you become toxic.
Mm,
So the body's going to break down the more negative emotions that you have. Now, in the moment of embarrassment or the moment of being afraid, it comes and it goes quickly. Or when you're nervous, what happens? People say their stomach is tied in knots or they have butterflies in their stomach, right? These are
yeah.
physical feelings, physical manifestations of emotions. Nothing else is going on. They're just having a reaction to something. So if you hold on to negative emotions for a long period of time, your body will turn on you and start to break down. So if I'm in a position where I'm not addressing that emotional piece and I'm just changing my diet and I'm maybe having surgery and I may be doing whatever else I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't address what's called the terrain, the soil in which my body has grown this ailment or chronic disease, that I'm never going, I mean, I'm not never, but it's like fighting an uphill battle, right? If my container is angry, but I'm changing my diet, I'm taking supplements and I'm exercising and I'm meditating and I'm doing all these things, but I'm angry, I may not get too far. Not
Mm,
to mention, I never get to the root potentially of why this even happened in the first place. I have to change my physical energy. There's a book by Dr. Kelly Turner called Radical Remission. And actually, she's two books. Radical Hope is the second one. And there's 10 steps. She surveyed cancer patients or people with different diseases that had a radical remission, where a doctor said, you are terminal, you're going to die, nothing else is going to work. And 1,500 people who, and I'm sure there's many, many more since then, who have survived. Dr. Kelly did a study and she basically pulled out all the different things that they did and came up with 10 things they all did the same. And
wow.
of those 10 things, 6 of them are mostly mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Mm,
6 out of 10. There's only 4 things that are physical: diet, supplements, exercise, and I forget what the other one is. But the rest of them are all mental, emotional, and spiritual.
wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, I'm going to get this book. So you have been teaching the law of attraction, since law of attraction was even a thing, right, I believe. So what is the connection between, because for my own understanding is that the reason why we are not getting the results, manifesting our desires, because we have some blocks, right, or some negative or limiting beliefs that is around that the thing that we want. So what is the connection, you would say, between our core wounds and our manifestation?
That is a perfect conversation. Thank you for asking that. I actually did an entire podcast episode 2 weeks
Wow.
ago called "The Connection Between Your Core Wounds and Manifestation." So we're on the same. So if anyone wants a deeper dive into that, that's like probably a 30 to 40 minute podcast on that particular topic. But the connection is that if I don't understand that one of my core wounds is devalued, and I get myself into a place of belief and of clean desire and of no resistance, and I attract whatever it is that I say that I want, yet I still believe that I am not valuable, that I'm probably going to sabotage the thing coming to me, or I'm going to block it from coming to me because I do not believe I should have it. My subconscious, if devalued is one of my beliefs, or core wounds, then I can say, I can affirm, I
Yeah.
can act like, but again, the emotion and the energy underneath is going to say, yeah, I want this, yeah, but I don't think I deserve it. I have to change my own beliefs about myself in order to receive the things that I want.
Right. And so what would you say is the most powerful exercise to change one's belief? Is it hypnosis, or NLP? I don't know. There are so many modalities out there.
Well, I like mine. It's because you can do NLP
Mm-hmm.
and still not know what your core wounds are. So maybe you change a surface level belief, of I can't make more money. All right, let's say you get rid of that and you can make more money. But that doesn't change if you feel like you're controlled or that you are devalued. That doesn't mean when you make more money, you're going to hold on to it. Doesn't mean that you're going to, right? It may not be an easy road. So for NLP, and I love NLP, and I think it's very effective. And I think it's more effective if you know your core wound map first. If you know your map, then you can make decisions about what therapies to do based on your core wounds and based on how you respond, because you can always sort of check. It's like you wouldn't go out and build a house. Most likely, I don't think you're an architect. Even if you are an architect, you probably still wouldn't build a house by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you really wouldn't go out and try to, because you wouldn't have any plans. You wouldn't have any measurements. You wouldn't have surveyed the land. You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't know all the tools and all the things that you need and all the regulations that you need to follow. And so it's the same thing for me when it comes to those to healing at this point. Because now, after working with people for so long, with between the core wounds and my podcast and coaching, I see the pattern. I see the pattern of we can come in and change a circumstance and someone feels a lot better because the circumstance has changed. But if that circumstance goes back to what it was before or changes into something you don't want, we are sitting on shaky ground, because we don't know if those core wounds have been healed or not, because you're in a situation where you're not getting triggered. So you take you with you, and all of a sudden you're susceptible to testing. And that's fine if you test, but you may think, wow, I haven't healed at all. Like, look, I just got all upset about that thing. So to me, having the plan, having the clarity, having the ownership of how you limit yourself, and then understand. I mean, just had it happen today with a client. One of my last sessions today before dinner, and coming here, was with somebody who wants something. She wants to be pushed. She wants to have a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but she gets all like afraid and feels resistance and feels overwhelmed and wants to push back and say, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. It's
Yeah.
basically just fear. But what's beautiful about the journey for her is that she can see this happening, still cry, still have resistance, and recognize, yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I'm going to feel the fear and I'm going to do it anyway. Versus someone that doesn't understand what's happening may say, this must not be the right thing because I have these negative feelings that I shouldn't do this. And they'd quit. Right. But when you normally quit because you get afraid, you let yourself quit. And then what happens is you go do something else and you quit again. But if you know that quitting is part of what you do when you get triggered by a core wound, then when you start to quit, you can go, okay, in this red hot moment, I'm going to quit, but I know that I'm going to come back because I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm
Mm.
going to create a new pathway by saying, even though I'm afraid, I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway, or I'm going to ask for more help. And I'm going to start to change that pattern. So no longer am I going to kick back and rebel or quit or withdraw or do whatever. So I think they all have merit. I think hypnosis, binaural beats, tapping, psychedelic journeys. I think everything has its purpose. Talk therapy even has its purpose. I'm not crazy about talk therapy, but everyone has has its purpose and plan and a way that it can fit in and make you better. But to me, like the roadmap to emotional healing is figuring out what your map is first so that you know what to choose.
When you talk about the map, do you mean from ever since when we were born to our early childhood to teenage year, do you mean that like our journey of life, that's the map?
No, the map is what I just outlined earlier that
Okay.
we extract from the core wound exercise. It's
Right.
the map is six things. Your top three core wounds, how you react emotionally, what you do, like what's your response? What do you withdraw? Do you rebel? Do you perform for love? Okay, that's those three things. And then how you are responsible for keeping those core wounds alive, how you can change your response, and then what do you do proactively to create new neural pathways and make new beliefs and diffuse and disarm and embed new beliefs that I am valuable. I'm not devalued. I am valuable. I'm going to value me, even though I didn't over here. And the more I value me, the less of an like intensity there is on devalued. Now I'm going to lean towards investing in myself, or spending time with myself, or exercising, or committing to myself and doing my self-care when I didn't before because I was too busy taking care of everybody else. So that's the map I'm talking about. I've created, it's called the core wound map. It's not your the exercise that happens through imago therapy does a little bit more of what you're talking about. Yes, you go a little bit through your childhood, and that's gathering all the data. But then I take and extract the data into a usable fear, like a friendly map. I've had people come to me and say, I've spent $200,000 on Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, and I still don't know why I keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I say, well, that's the one thing you'll get from me. You'll know exactly why you do all the things that you do. You'll know exactly why you keep the patterns that you keep, because it's all in the map. Will you heal it all immediately? Of course not. But at least now now you can make decisions from an informed place of knowing what you're working on, and then being able to see when you're changing, when you're different in the same situation. It's not going to be some amazing journey that you're on that activates your right brain and you have this emotional feeling and you feel like amazing, and then you go back home and then you're the same person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally can relate to that. So okay, I have another question. How and when did we first develop our core wounds? How does it happen?
Yeah, you're a baby and your parent leaves the room and you cry, like, because you think you're alone, and maybe that's when you develop abandonment. Or your parents go to work because they have to support you and provide, food and money to keep the house going. And again, you think of that and you decide you're not valuable because they left you.
Okay.
Again, these aren't conscious things. We're not, children not talking about this kind of stuff. They're just deciding. Our brains are just deciding that this behavior means something about me, and it's mostly negative. And here's what it means. And then I put a value on it. A mother that is nervous about her child doing anything, who's a helicopter parent, who is so afraid of her child being hurt or getting abducted or dying, who is, all in that child's business for a long time, that child's going to feel controlled. That
Yeah.
child's not going to say, oh, my mother loves me so much. The child's going to be like, my mother was on top of me my entire life. I feel controlled.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is of course law of attraction, because I know my listeners love these topics. They want to learn how to attract and manifest, right? But first we have to do the hard work, which is what most people don't want to do, right? What we just talked about. So you have been teaching law of attraction since 2009. How do you teach law of attraction differently than what other mainstream teachers are teaching today?
Well, you mentioned it. You asked earlier, how do your core wounds affect your ability to attract? So how I teach it differently, I think, and this is what I've heard from people that have followed me for a long time or been, is I can really explain the mechanics of it.
Mm,
If you, it's about there, it's more complicated than just affirm something, put something on a vision board, or try to feel happy, right? Like it's deeper than that. It's more intricate than that, because there's the idea that if you really, really want something and you talk about it and you affirm it and you put on a vision board, but you really, really want it, you have to be careful to understand energetically, going back to sort of our subconscious feelings. Are you actually in alignment with the thing? Do you do you believe? You manifest what you believe.
mm,
So here's where, again, we have to look at what we believe. We have to be able to see what's coming to us, what we're attracting, and be able to stand back and say, okay, well, what does that mean about me? I must believe XYZ. It's not as easy as the vision board, put it up there, walk away. And it's not as easy as say an affirmation, because again, what I'm saying and what I'm feeling might be two different things. We have our subconscious brain and our mind, and we can decide in that 12% of our conscious brain to focus on something positive, but we could also have an entire body filled with pain, filled with fear, but we're overcompensating by pretending not to have that. And then we attract more things to be nervous about, and we wonder why. So, it's really looking underneath the surface too. There's practices, but the practices are about what you feel, not what you say. It's not even what you think. If what you think and say activate a feeling. And I think that's where a lot of people think it's about affirmations or about gratitude journals, and you can do all of that. But if the energy underneath that isn't pure with whatever you're looking for, if you're looking to, like someone that says, I'm going to make $5 million next year. Okay, someone can say, I really, really want that. But then you have to ask them, do you believe that you can do that? And if they say they can't, they don't believe, but they believe that if they just say it enough and they think about it enough and they talk about it enough, that they'll attract it. But that's not, you have to actually believe it. You have to believe. That's part of law of attraction. You attract what you believe. That's why people can attract different things all the time, good and bad things, because it depends on what you believe. One person can believe something that they're going to ingest will kill them, and it might. And something can believe that same thing will make them healthy, and it might, because you're coming at it from different frequencies. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that my body is going to be in alignment with and show up and look for evidence of what I believed to strengthen what I believe. So you have to look at changing your beliefs. Now, I do a manifestation boot camp. I did 2 manifestation boot camps, but I do a free 14-day manifestation challenge. I just finished one in February. I'll probably do another one, like I think maybe in May or June. So people can go to the website to sign up for that. It's a free 14-day manifestation challenge. And I give you different exercises to do. You get to pick if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And all that means basically is that you choose a number of activities to do to elevate your frequency. And I just give you some suggestions. You can choose anything. It just whatever feels good. We're going for the feeling. And something that I want, if your audience likes law of attraction, then I'm going to really strongly recommend that all of you write this down. This is all you need to know. Well, not all you need to know. This is the biggest piece.
All right.
And this is an Abraham quote. So this is my favorite Abraham quote, although I have many of them. The only reason that you want what you want is that you think you'll feel better when you have it. So that is law of attraction right there in a nutshell. The only reason you want the money, the partner, the house, the job, the car, the body, whatever, is because you think you'll feel better when you have it. Let's break that down for a second. What you're looking for is the feeling. Yeah. Well, guess what? You can get the feeling without the thing. In fact, you don't even need the thing because you're looking for the feeling anyway. And in order for you to attract the thing, you have to feel it first. You can't think about a thing that's separate from you. Don't believe that you have it and vibrate in the, God, I hope I get it. God, I hope I get it. I feel like I'm on chorus line right now. Right. But if you don't believe that it's your reality, if you're that distance from it, then you're not going to get it. You can't wish for $1 million, hoping and wondering and worrying about it. And then that's not alignment. Alignment means I'm already living in the feeling of already having it. But again, you're only going for the feeling anyway. So if you just go to the feeling, you don't even need the thing that you're looking for. And then you'll probably get the thing that you're looking for because you'll be unattached to it and you'll already be living in the frequency of where it exists. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I listen to Abraham a lot as well. So how do we go to the feeling? How do we really feel when we don't? I know this is one of the questions that a lot of attendees also ask Abraham, right? How do we feel when we don't have the thing we want?
Well, what is it? I think you have to ask the question of what is it that you're looking for. So when let me see if I have a feelings and needs list. If this is a free download in case anybody wants this on my site, it's an exercise I use with everybody all the time. We have 100 basic feeling words, but most of us only know a handful of feeling words. If I ask you what are emotional words, maybe you'll come up with 10, but there's 100. Okay. Actually, there's more than 100 because I realized there's one missing. Okay. So in this list that I'm sharing on this video, there are all these different feeling words. Now, we don't want to look at the negative ones. We want to look at the positive ones because that's the ones that you want to have by the thing that you want to have. So let's say in a relationship, what do people want in a relationship? Well, let's see. Under loving, they probably want to feel affectionate, compassionate, tender. They probably want to feel alive, energetic. They probably want to feel calm, blissful. Okay. So these are some words I'm just picking out. Anybody, whatever, they're your words, whoever the person is, and you're saying, I want this thing because I want to feel this. If you say, why does anybody want money? Why? A lot of people want money so they feel safe or they feel free or they feel ease. Those are some of the emotions that people are looking for by having a lot of money. If I have a lot of money, I'm going to feel ease. Well, you're probably not going to, because a lot of people with a lot of money don't have ease because they're worried about keeping their money. So, if you go to the feeling of ease, you don't have to make it about money. Find a way to feel ease. If you find a way to feel ease, and that could be anything, what could bring you ease? Taking a breath, saying I quit. I did that the other day and it felt really good. I was like, oh my God, I quit. And then I was like, wow, that feels really good to kind of surrender and just sort of pretend that I quit for a minute. You could get a massage. You could go for a walk. You could go sit by the beach. You could listen to waves. Whatever you need to do to bring ease, to visualize yourself in the place that you want to be and what that looks like and what that feels like, and do it until you feel the feeling of ease, and then milk ease. Like, everywhere you can, like, oh, ease. I feel the ease. Like, whatever you need to do to feel ease, the more you can be in ease, you will start to attract things to you that you didn't have before, right? To help you stay in ease.
Yeah.
So it's, and trust me, I've been doing this a really long time, and I got so good at it. And then I got lazy. I attracted so many things that I wanted that I got lazy.
Right, because it becomes so easy for you.
It becomes so easy, right? But then when you want to up level and go to the next level of things you don't have now, I was like, oh, like I heard an Abraham yesterday, and I was, that's just the first line reminded of me of what I just told you, that we are all super conditional. We look at life and we wait for something to happen in our experience to justify feeling good about it. And that's the exact opposite of law of attraction. You can't wait in order for, that's not how it happens. You have to be in the feeling about it first before it can arrive for you anyway. So again, and by the time you get it, you don't even need it because you are searching for the ease.
Yeah.
Right. So I would recommend that you take the subject matters that you're wanting to manifest about and figure out what the feeling is that you're reaching for, and find a way to get that feeling. Visualize, put yourself in situations, back in when The Secret was a thing. They talked about, I think it was Dooley was his name, Mike Dooley. Mike went and sat in a car, like he wanted to, so he sat in it. So go do that. Go sit in a Lamborghini, or whatever car you love. Like go to the mansion down the street that has a for sale sign in it. Go tour the mansion, pretend it's yours. Go to the store and put on a suit that you can't afford and pretend that it's yours and that it's pocket change for you. Embody the things that you want to make them cellularly active so that you can get to the feeling that you're looking for, because that's the only way law of attraction works. You have to get to the feeling before you can get the thing.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, which is why visualization is so powerful, right? Because it's all about imagining yourself being there, the place that you want, with the person that you want, and doing the things that you want to do, right? And just feel that feeling. So what is one thing, because I want to make this as actionable as possible, like what is one thing that you want my listeners to do after they listen to this whole episode? What is one thing that you want them to do right now?
For what result?
I would say everyone wants different result, but in order to maybe move closer to where we want to be in life or in business.
Okay, so looking for my here. I want you to get a journal, and I want you to, I am not a fan of the word gratitude. And I'll tell you why. Because anytime I have said it, or anytime I hear someone else say it, there's always an energy of being grateful because something was bad before. So I almost feel like someone says, I'm so grateful. I have so much relief because of this bad thing that happened to me. So what I feel is a stronger energy about the story, about the bad place you were versus the relief and where you are now. So I prefer the word appreciation, and Abraham does too. It's cleaner. There's usually less attachment. Now, again, it's just a word, so everybody can energize a word differently. But in my experience, and is I prefer appreciation because there's usually not a baggage story coming along with appreciation. So you start an appreciation journal and you just every day, morning or night, doesn't matter when, just get into a habit of doing it once a day. You appreciate everything you can about your day or about your life or about your body or about your relationship or about your bank account or about your work. Whatever contrast you're dealing with, learn how to accept being where you are. Doesn't mean you don't want to change it. It just means you have to make peace with where you are before anything can change. So find the frequency, find the things that you can appreciate. And then that's on one side of the page. Now, on the other side of the page, I want you to write a what I'm looking forward to list. And that what I'm looking forward to is how to generate excitement and anticipation and practice of feeling what it is that you're looking forward to. So let's see if I can play that game with you right now. So I'm doing a summit. I don't know when this is going out, but in a month from now, or in 2 days, I am putting on the consciousness upgrade summit. So I've got people like Bruce Lipton and Dr. William Davis, and I've got a really Mariel Hemingway. I got a power-packed group of people who are coming to do the summit, and I'm very excited about it. And my hope is, and I'm looking forward to, what I'm really looking forward to, is to have them all share it with their lists, to have them all share it with their social media platforms, for them to get so excited about the content, to continue to promote it. And I'm hoping to affect thousands of people by it. That is what I want. I want thousands of people to listen and sign up for it, and then by default listen to my podcast. Okay. And because I want to create a lot of momentum around this topic. And what does that mean for me? Oh, that just means like a whole new pool of people and more energy and more people wanting to do things and more people to come to my event and more people to, work with me and do my programs and more people who I'm getting positive reviews from. Right. So I want you to do what I'm looking forward to. And I want you to fill the page. This is not like story time where you're writing a story. You're just saying, I'm looking forward to, and have it access a feeling. And that's how I manifested both my husband the first time and then now my partner now. Because in a bad place in my marriage before it ended, I was activating, again, what do I want? Well, what I want is someone to hold me and to hold my hand and to go dancing with me and like to do workshops with me. And I want someone who, and I just did this. Now, of course, I was doing it to get my husband the time to be that person. I wasn't looking to leave the marriage. I just wanted to activate those things in him potentially, or just activate feeling those things. And what happened was the minute that I trusted the universe to let go, and I said, okay, I'm going to stop trying to control everybody. I'm going to let go. I'm going to say, okay, bye. Why don't we separate for a while? And the second I let go, my partner, boom, the universe put him right in my hands. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. I was like, whoa. No. I wasn't looking for a new person. I was looking for that person. The universe, like, you're not going to get what you want from that person. You're done. Like, your contract's over. You've learned what you need to learn. You got what you need to get. And now if you want what you want, it's here. And it was pretty magical, actually, that meeting. So I want you to like practice. And that's what geared me up for when the time was right. And when I was ready to release and let go, then the universe handed me exactly what I've been practicing, exactly what I wanted. So I want you to practice the muscle. Think of it like exercising. You're going to exercise joy. You're going to exercise receiving more. You're going to exercise being excited. You're going to exercise feeling relief and ease and excitement and passion. You have to practice those feelings in order for you to get things to keep them going.
Yeah, I believe everyone has a journal. If not just a notebook, right? Just get a pen and paper. So, I really love the exercise because every time, like you said, people talk about gratitude journal, and I've done it before. It didn't work on me because I wasn't really grateful for those things. I'm just writing it down because of the sake of writing, and I wasn't really feeling grateful towards those things. And which is why I love your appreciation journal, because it's all about acceptance, right? Of where you are now and everything that you're looking forward, excited about in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I am going to do it personally, and I want my listeners to do it as well. And what would you say, do it every day in the morning, or it doesn't matter?
Well, with my last relationship, because we went to bed at different times, I had a whole ritual before I went to bed. So for me, it was when I went to bed. I would say if I had to pick, I would prefer you do it before bed. And the reason is because most people tend to think about what they didn't do during the day and what they have to do tomorrow. And this would change your brain because it would focus you into what you do appreciate, and you would go to bed feeling better and probably less anxious. So if I had to pick what I think is better, probably at night. But if you can't do it at night for whatever reason, my partner and I, we go to the bed at the same time now. So
Okay.
I don't do it. I don't do it at night as much anymore because we have the same schedule, or we, most of the time we're in bed together. So it just doesn't fit. However, I could probably implement doing it, let's say after dinner or after, after we're done watching television or something, but I think nighttime feels better. Now, if that doesn't work for you for whatever reason, do it in the morning. Just the fact that you do it is better, but I think it has the biggest impact at night.
Okay, interesting. So, would you say that because we are doing it every day, and maybe some of the things that we are writing down could be the same as the day before, or tomorrow is going to be. So, is it okay? Like,
Remember, it's about the feeling of it. And we're not, and I don't want people to lie, right? So back in my marriage, when things weren't working, I would do it about my husband because I wanted to find and sort of get in alignment with the things that I did appreciate. I didn't want to just focus on the things that I didn't like, or the things that were not good between us. I wanted to find the things that I still, in any situation, could appreciate. And that just feels so much better. It's much more loving to everybody around you. So you're just activating sort of an open heart. So I would say, as long as you feel it, like, don't just write everything to get it done. Like, really think about what you're writing. And, this journal, this is probably my, I don't know, fourth or fifth journal, and I've got new moon stuff in here. So here's sort of like this is, I appreciate, and I want to do the whole page. I want you to do the whole page because I want you to find things to appreciate, because the more you stretch into being in alignment with things that work, you will find more things that work. That's just the name of law of attraction. So, yeah.
beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing so abundantly with us today. Now, tell my people I know, is it your website the best place for them to find you? And how do they work with you? What do you offer, and what does it look like to work with you?
That was a couple questions. So let me start with JJ Flizane. It's okay. JJ Flizane. Yes, the website's the best place. Everything is there. JJFlizanes.com. And on the homepage, there are 3 sort of free offers of some classes that I did. So one, your listeners probably only care about the first 2. You might care about the third one because it's the 3 fastest ways to make money podcasting. So that's for podcasters. But the first one is 3 reasons why talk therapy is ineffective. And the second one is how emotions affect healing and disease. So those are sort of like classes, that like master classes that I did that you have access to, and they're free. There's a link to all the podcasts. There's a link to all my courses. Like I said, I am going to be running another 14-day manifestation challenge. It's free. It's March as of the recording of this, so we'll probably be doing one again in May or June. I haven't decided yet, but if you just sign up to be on the list, then you'll be notified of when it's going to be. And I would recommend listening first, because I don't really work with people one-on-one unless it's in a VIP experience, because I do things in groups, and I sort of want you to know coming in what you want to work on. But there are courses. I mean, I have a ton of courses you can buy that are self-study courses. My roadmap to emotional healing, you can buy that and do it on your own. I've got strengthening intuition. I've got 2 astrology courses. I got all kinds of stuff there. I've got stuff for podcasters, marketing and sales training. Yeah. So I really just take a look and see what stands out for you. But there's a ton of free content. I got a YouTube channel. There's a ton of free content there about exercise and cooking and healthy things. And so really, you would be hard pressed to catch up to all the things I've put out into the world. So just see whatever calls to you in the moment and do that.
All right, guys. I know this episode, you love this episode, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening to the very end. This has been truly empowering, and we would love to hear from you. So let us know what is your biggest takeaway from this episode, and go follow JJ, go to the website, check out all the amazing things that she is doing. I'll put all her links and resources in the show note below. So also follow us on Instagram if you haven't already, and remember to like and subscribe so you never miss another episode coming to you every Wednesday. And I will always leave you the same way as I leave you every other episode. Show up. The world needs you, and you need you. Thanks for listening, and I wish you all a joyful and amazing day ahead. Bye, JJ.
Bye, Joyan. Thank you.
Thank you again for tuning into Find Joy Joyan podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, take a screenshot and share it on your IG story and tag findjoyjoyan_podcast so I know you are listening. And leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts if you haven't already done so. And remember to hit the subscribe button whether you are listening on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, or any of your other favorite platforms. If you love what we are doing and want to become one of our sponsors, you can send me a DM to connect. And thanks for being here. I will see you soon in the next episode.